The following program is paid for by Beyond the Pink Ribbon. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One and its management.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Pink Ribbon with your host, Nadia E. Miller. In a world where pink often symbolizes breast cancer awareness, this show stands as a beacon of hope and empowerment. With Nadia at the helm, we embark on a journey of resilience, courage, and unwavering determination.
Good evening and welcome to Praise Indy AM 1310, The Light. My name is Kyla Thompson, and I have the pleasure of standing in as your guest host for Nadia E. Miller for Beyond the Pink Ribbon, which airs Wednesdays from 6 to 6:30 p.m., where we are here to light up your midweek. Look, in the spirit of Nadia E. Miller, can you believe it's Wednesday? We made it. Before we dive into tonight's conversation, let's connect. Follow us at Nadia E. Miller on Facebook and Instagram. Click like or share so we can make sure you are locked in each week to see the amazing things that we have going on. A huge shout out to our sponsor that's made tonight's show possible, Pink Forever, Ending Disparities, whose mission is to provide advocacy, education, empowerment, and research. Thank you for making tonight's show possible. I personally am also live streaming from the studio on Facebook. Hey, everybody, at Conversations with Kyla. Again, that's Conversations with Kyla. So feel free to shower us with some love, questions, or comments. I am here for all of it. But of course, good vibes only. So as some of you may know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we will be discussing mental wellness every Wednesday during the month of May. So let's get right into it. I thought about tonight's topic. It's kind of personal for me because I am human like everyone else, and tonight's topic is about navigating life's transitions. We all go through them each and every day at some period in our life. At least more than once in your life, you've navigated a transition. Everybody goes through these periods, and transitions, can be challenging. So therefore, it's important to take care of yourself, to increase your self-awareness, and begin building your coping toolbox so you have healthy coping skills to use when those times get tough. So let's talk about how to navigate life's transitions. So what do I mean by life's transitions? I want you to think of things such as relationship changes. It could be career changes, a serious illness, starting a business, motherhood, retirement, or if you're like me, I just had a daughter graduate from college. So that's some kind of transition. Just watching my kids go through each stage was a transition. Another personal transition I've gone through recently is a career changing careers. I'm a 23-year hairstylist, and that's what helped me to parent my kids during this time. And now I've transitioned into being a therapist. But as everybody knows, that's in the fine print of a hairstylist job description anyway. But these transitions require us to adjust. And sometimes, if not oftentimes, it does not feel good. It really feels awkward. It feels like we are losing control. And so this is something I like to also call an opportunity for growth or for further self-exploration. It's in moments of transition that you learn more about your personal strengths, but also learn about areas that may need improvement or where you may need a little extra support. Again, these transitions can be overwhelming. Sometimes you can even feel hopeless. It can lead to other feelings. So tonight we're going to talk about this. How do we navigate through these transitions? There can also be some feelings of like grief and loss that come with these transitions. And that's one thing I think people are maybe kind of surprised about, that how can I be grieving during this transition? Well, again, it may include some kind of a loss of a career or a loss of a loved one. There's all different kind of losses that we experience. But one thing I think is important is to take time to reflect, explore, and recharge. So these are the three things we're really going to focus on. Taking the time to reflect, to explore and recharge. So you may be asking, Kyla, how? How do I do this? First of all, with reflecting, I want you to reflect by writing. And it could be in a journal. It could simply be on your phone. I am the queen of texting myself and jotting down my random thoughts that I have on a regular basis. It's like my own personal diary I carry with me. And again, oftentimes these transitions may leave you feeling with like a sense of a loss of control. So as you're reflecting and writing, I want you to also identify these things that you can and cannot control. One thing I love to do with clients in therapy, and just even I've done this with my kids, is something I call, or that is known as, I didn't come up with it, but the circle of control. And so literally you can take a paper plate, you can take a piece of paper and write a big circle on there. And on the inside of this circle, I want you to write things that I can control. So when I talk about things we can control, these are things like what you say, what you do, how you feel, your efforts, your choices, and also remaining present in what's happening today. Again, I'm human and I'm guilty of this. I'm very future, far forward thinking, and sometimes I get stuck back in the past and I forget to remain present in today. So that's one thing that we can control, is how we remain present in the day. On the outside of that circle, you're going to write things I cannot control. These are things like other people's actions, feelings, other people's mistakes, and even past world events. You know, we all just came through a pandemic, and that's something that we could not control, right? So those are things you write on your outside of the things I cannot control. So what does this do? This helps you to focus on the things in your life that you have control of, rather than trying to change things that you cannot control. So as you go through self-exploration, you also might find that you need to set some boundaries. Again, say it with me. Set those boundaries. Boundaries, and I'm talking about healthy boundaries. Boundaries are rules and limits that we set for other people, but also that we set for ourselves. They allow us to take responsibility for our own needs and emotions as well. And it also helps us to reduce codependency. Some people don't realize how dependent they are on other people for their emotional needs, for things in their life. And sometimes when we set those boundaries for ourselves and others, we gain a better clarity of that. So why do we set boundaries during transition? They help you to create space for yourself, for self-exploration, for learning, for evolving. It promotes self-care. It helps to facilitate healthy relationships. You feel empowered when you set boundaries. I'm telling you, man, when you start experiencing those boundaries in place, it feels good. Like, okay, I don't have to worry about the stress of somebody else. I just got to worry about myself. But the one thing this also does, and it encourages your authenticity. It allows you to be your true self and have no worries and cares about how others see you. It can also help you to make choices that align with your goals for growth. So as you're making these goals and you're striving to accomplish these goals, it can help you make sure I'm staying in alignment with where I'm trying to get to. You also might find, once you set these boundaries, that you may have some unsupportive friends or family members during your time of transition. This is an ideal time to reassess and reinforce those boundaries. So you might have somebody who's not your biggest cheerleader. You might have somebody who is silently hoping that you fail. You might realize you're putting too much time and energy into other people's goals, other people's things, and not really focusing on you and what you're trying to accomplish or where you're trying to go next. The next thing we're going to do is to begin to explore the feelings about the transition. So this is one thing I actually really love is you hear people say, I'm just feeling some type of way. And I ask people, what is the type of way? What is it that you're feeling? And it's amazing how many grown people, now I expect this of some kids, but how many grown people can't really identify what that feeling is. So one thing I want you to do, you can do it right now if you want to, go to Google. And you can Google the feelings wheel. It is one of my favorite tools to use. It's something that I found actually very helpful for myself. And I was like, where was this my whole life? Where was this for me to be able to articulate exactly what I was feeling? What you'll see if you pull one up is it's a wheel with a bunch of feelings on it. And you're going to start in the innermost part of the wheel and then work your way out to narrow down exactly how you are feeling. So, for example, on the inside of the wheel, you'll see a couple different feelings such as happy, sad, angry, fearful. And I'm going to focus on maybe you're feeling fearful. And if we go to the next innermost wheel, you'll see it gives you about maybe 6 different options of different feelings to start to narrow it down. So we have like scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened. Say the feeling is insecure. And then after you go out, you'll see on the farthermost circle, there's some more feelings there, but 2 that branch off of insecure. And you'll see inadequate or inferior. So maybe you'll discover, you know what, I feel a little inadequate. And then you can begin to explore, well, why do I feel inadequate? So this is, again, the feelings wheel. You can go to Google and find it. Something that helps you to articulate exactly how you feel. And this is along that journey of self-exploration. So we talked about reflecting and setting those boundaries. We talked about self-exploration, and we talked about emotions, right? So now we're going to talk about recharging. So how do we recharge? So what you'll do is, I like to ask people, what's an activity that you can do to help you reset and recharge? If you need some help, think about the last thing you did that really brought you joy, something that you enjoy doing. And I'm talking like recently, like within the last week or so. Think back, what brought you joy? Was it doing something fun with your kids? Was it a quiet ride in the car alone? I enjoy quiet rides in the car alone. I even enjoy just sitting in the garage once I get home and just pausing for a minute. Or maybe was it dancing around to some of your favorite songs, right? Listening to some oldies but goodies. Those are things I want you to go do that. Do that thing. Go play. We all have an inner child in us. And what can you do that's playful and fun? There's something there that you can do to bring you back to a moment of joy. So take some time to explore those types of things. Lastly, find a support system. Find a safe space that offers emotional support. That could be family, that could be friends, it could be therapy, it can be a support group. There's lots of resources in our community. There's lots of resources if you just open your mouth and talk to people and even share some things with people, what's going on, how you're feeling. You'll find that there's a lot of connectors out here that can connect you to the different supports, or that you might have something in common with your fellow friend or your family member, like you're going through the same type of transition. I'll share with you a personal story that's something that I've experienced as my youngest daughter just went off for a college trip, and she's only a junior in high school right now, but it kind of like took me back because I'm like, oh my goodness, in a year, like this is going to be my real life. I'm going to be by myself, and this is going to be a transition. I don't know if I'm ready to really be an empty nester. And I felt this sense of loneliness come over me. And I'm like, what is this about? You know, who can I call? And I sat there in that moment and I'm like, God, like, what do I do with this? Why am I feeling like this? Like, who do I talk to? Who can I call? And it was at that moment, it so happened that Nadia had sent me a message. And I'm like, all right, I'm about to just call her and have a conversation. And she is exactly the person who I needed to talk to in that moment, because her daughter has recently gone off to college and she experienced these things. And even though I have an older daughter that's, already gone to college, this is something new for me with my youngest daughter. So I needed to have that conversation. I needed her words that she gave me that night. So this is the importance of connecting and having people in your life to help you navigate these times of transition. There's plenty of other people that I brought in my life personally as I navigated different transitions. I'm talking about not just therapy, but I've had mentors. I've had coaches. Coaches are great at helping us with life mapping and life planning. It's really helped me to map out even my transition from being a hairstylist to a therapist. What does that look like? It's also required me to go back and like assess my capacity. What all do I have on my plate? What all do I need to maybe let go of at the moment? You know, again, that's where those boundaries come in. One thing I've done is, like, again, take a paper plate or just draw a circle and write everything that you have on your plate, all the things that you're doing, and see, is there something that I can really, you know, take away off of this plate for right now? Is this really necessary? Also, is there something where maybe I need to pull somebody else in to take over for me? For instance, maybe I need somebody to pick up my daughter from an activity if you know, the kids aren't driving yet. Maybe I need to find somebody to help me meal prep. There's so many different things out here. So these are just some great tools that you can use as you navigate these different life transitions. Again, take care of yourself. Self-care is so important. You have to, as Nadia says, mind your mind. But again, I want you to reflect. I want you to reset. I want you to recharge as you navigate through these transitions. So take some time today and think about it. Think about, what is it that I'm going through? Nobody can discount the things that you're going through, no matter how big or how small. It doesn't have to be this major thing of this career change or divorce, or it could be something small, but kind of think of it and how you're feeling in that space as well. So I want to take this time to thrive together. I want to thank our partner for making this show possible. Pink Forever is a breast health servicing organization that provides survivors and families information, services, and access to screenings to improve their quality of life. Check out their website at www.pinkforever.org. Again, that's www.pink4ever.org. Follow them on their social media sites at Pink Forever Inc. You can also reach them at 317-682-4944. That is 317-682-4944. The organization's office is located at 3901 West 86th Street in Suite 220. Check out all the great things that they have going on in the community. One of the hottest things they have going on right now, and I am so, I feel so privileged to be a part of and be a partner with them on this, is called Survivorship is a Lifestyle. There are so many community partners tied in with this. Go to their website, again, pinkforeverinc.org, to learn more about it and to register today. Lastly, again, in the spirit of Nadia, I have to keep this up. I want to give you the power play. So my power play for today is one of my absolute favorite things to do. I want you to lean into gratitude. What do I mean by that? I want you to challenge yourself this week to vocalize at least 3 things you are grateful for. I challenge you to make this a practice this week. And here's an easy way you can do this. First thing when you wake up in the morning, express gratitude. One that I do: God, thank you for just waking me up this morning. Thank you for this great sleep. Thank you for the rain last night that helped me to sleep, right? Another one, right before you close your eyes and go to bed, express gratitude. God, thank you for this day, that I even made it through today, that I have a clear mind. It can be as simple as a thank you again for waking me up this morning. It could be, I'm grateful for the ability to, whatever, you fill in the blank, that I have legs to walk, that I have eyes to see, anything. Or better yet, even right now, find a sheet of paper, grab something nearby, take your phone out, and make a list of 5 things you're grateful for, even just for today. I'll say one is, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to speak to all of you today, to be invited as a guest host for Beyond the Pink Ribbon. This has been awesome. I really hope I was able to impart some wisdom and give you a few gems and jewels to carry you through your transitions. So thank you so much for joining us for Beyond the Pink Ribbon. Again, I am Kyla Thompson. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Conversations with Kyla. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Nadia E. Miller. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, visit our website at NadiaEMillerLLC.com. Nadia E. Miller will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Thank you for joining us for Beyond the Pink Ribbon with your host, Nadia E. Miller. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Nadia E. Miller. Tune in every Wednesday for your drive home at 6 p.m. on Praise AM 1310 and 95.1 FM.
The preceding program was paid for by Beyond the Pink Ribbon.
Naptown, it's wellness.